Let's review these. Daily bread, situations to see if they are familiar to you. It might be when you turn off the TV while your child is engrossed in watching, or when your child demands to buy an item but is refused, so they immediately throw themselves on the floor screaming and crying. Anger can also come from jealousy when seeing you cuddle another child, or feeling hurt just because they were yelled at by an adult. Even the reasons are sometimes so unreasonable that it is just because of a broken toy or your child is overtired and sleepy, but simply cannot fall asleep. Whatever the reason, all these moments share a common result, an emotional bomb explosion that our adult logic struggles to comprehend. To know exactly when to stop talking, you need to understand what is really going on inside that little head when your child is screaming. Imagine this. Inside your child's brain, there is a part that acts like a siren. When your child throws a tantrum, this siren wails to signal danger. The problem lies in the fact that a child's immature brain cannot distinguish between life-threatening danger and mom handing over the wrong blue cup. To us adults, the wrong colored cup is a trivial matter, but to a child, that disappointment is just as overwhelming as a real danger. When this siren goes off, your child's body switches to self-protection mode. And this is the most important thing you need to remember. When the protection mode is on, the part of the brain responsible for thinking and listening is completely shut off. You guess what happens next. Your child's ability to understand words at this moment is practically zero. Let's be honest, the last time you were shaking with anger and someone tried to preach to you, how much did you remember? Probably nothing, right? Words just go in one ear and out the other. Your child is exactly the same. Your child simply cannot process your explanations at that time. But the story does not stop there. To resolve this thoroughly, we must find out why that siren rang. The first thing we need to do is not to soothe, but to observe. Crying is a signal. Maybe your child is too tired, it is too loud, or too bright. But sometimes, if you observe closely, it could be a sign of anxiety or your child having difficulty focusing attention. There is also another realistic perspective that we are sometimes hesitant to admit. That is your child crying to get what they want. If your child has ever thrown a fit in the middle of the supermarket and you hurriedly bought candy to end the matter, your child learned a lesson that throwing a tantrum gets a reward. At this point, the crying is no longer panic, but a tool. So what must you do in this situation? First, try to notice what things usually make your child angry to avoid them beforehand. Prevention is better than cure. Second, if your child cries just to make demands, the secret is to ignore that behavior. Do not talk when your child does not want to listen. Let your child understand that throwing a tantrum is not the way to get what they want. And third, look at yourself. When you try to explain with your hands waving, your face tense, and your voice getting louder, you look very scary to your child at that moment. Instead of reassuring your child, you are unintentionally making them panic more. In short, in the heat of the moment, your child does not need a lecture. Your child needs to feel safe. Only when feeling safe does the siren turn off, and only then does your child's brain work again to listen to you. How to create that safety without saying a word, I will demonstrate for you right now. You can handle a child's tantrum without saying too much. Sounds strange, right? But let me tell you a very specific situation so you can see right away how this method works in real life. A few days ago, my 4-year-old son was playing Lego with his older sister when suddenly he started screaming and rolling around on the floor. The reason was very simple. He wanted the Lego piece his sister was using. In that moment, I could have totally rushed over and said something like, "You are upset because you want that piece, right?" And then started explaining why he couldn't have it immediately, that he needs to wait his turn, that his sister was playing with it first. But when a child is exploding, the more words, the more expressions, and the more you try to lecture, can sometimes unintentionally trigger their panicked brain even more. And the result is usually that he screams louder, longer, and the tantrum lasts longer. So I did something completely different. I just gently picked my son up, took him to the next room, and set him down on the floor. At this point, he was still struggling, still screaming and trying to roll away from me. He pressed himself against the wall as if he wanted to get as far away from me as possible. That was when I understood very clearly my presence being too close to his face was not helping him at this moment. In fact, just seeing me in front of him made everything worse. So I just said one short sentence, "I am here." Then I stepped back a little out of his direct line of sight, but still in the room. And then I waited in silence. I didn't try to talk. I didn't lecture. I didn't reason. I also didn't use familiar phrases like use your words or calm down. Because honestly, in moments like these, those phrases rarely help at all. When you see the storm start to clear, the crying fades, and your child stops rolling around, this is when you need to move closer. But remember, do not say anything yet. At this moment, let your calm presence do the work. Your relaxed body language is sending a strong message to your child's nervous system. Everything is safe. We are okay. About 30 seconds later, when your child looks up at you, simply ask, "Do you want a hug?" If your child nods, hold them in your arms. Wait until their breathing slows down and they look you straight in the eye. That is the sign that their thinking brain has switched back on. Only then do you start talking and teaching. Right now, you might be thinking, that theory sounds nice, but the reality in my house is very different. Yes, reality is always harsher than in books. Below, I will break this down into 4 possible scenarios and how you can handle the 4 most common, tricky situations that you will surely encounter. Situation 1. Many children scream, "Go away, Mom!" but their hands cling tightly to your leg. If you actually leave, they panic. If you stay, they push you away. What should you do? Do not leave. Sit down on the floor. Keep a little distance, but stay within their line of sight. Become a solid anchor. The message at this moment is, I know you are angry, but I will sit right here to ensure you are safe. I am not going anywhere. Situation 2A, when your child becomes violent, hitting, throwing things, hurting themselves, silently observing is a mistake here. You need to prioritize safety. If your child rushes to hit you or bang their head, use the safe hold technique. Hold their hands firmly but without causing pain and say in a deep voice, "I will not let you hurt me, hurt yourself." Do not lecture, just maintain the safety boundary until their muscles relax. Situation 3. Physical limitations and confined spaces. If your child is too heavy to carry, or you have back pain, or you are stuck in a car, do not try to move your child. Instead, remove dangerous objects around them to create a safe zone right there. If you are driving, pull over if possible. If you cannot stop, turn on soft music or white noise to drown out the crying. Keep yourself calm and accept that I cannot do anything right now, and that is okay. Situation 4E. The public nightmare. This is when the pressure from strangers' stares makes you want to explode or spank your child just to get it over with. But remember, your child's brain in the supermarket works exactly the same as it does at home. If you cannot carry your child to a quiet place, create an invisible bubble, get down to your child's eye level, and turn your back to the crowd. Do not worry about what the restaurant manager or the neighbor thinks. In this moment, it is just you and your child in that bubble. Your calmness in the eye of the storm is the biggest lesson your child learns, not physical punishment. And finally, for children with special needs, such as speech delays or autism, remember that sometimes it is sensory overload, not a tantrum. In these moments, silence is golden. Reducing light and noise and using comforting physical contact will be more effective than 1,000 words. So what if your child continues to cry uncontrollably even though you have tried to understand? At this moment, your most important task is to stay calm and repeat the process. I know this is easier said than done. When you hear your child crying, your heart beats faster, your blood pressure rises, and you feel like you are being attacked. That is the brain's natural reflex. But remember, you are the mature adult in this situation, and your child desperately needs your help. Take a deep breath, reassure yourself to maintain your self-control, and do not let yourself lose control. When you are truly calm, a miracle will happen. Your slow and deep breathing will send a safety signal to your child's brain, helping their body gradually cool down along with yours. After a moment of silence, Gently let your child know that you are still there and understand their sadness. Absolutely do not criticize or blame. If your child permits, try physical contact, such as placing a hand on their shoulder or hugging them. Depending on the child's personality, some like to be hugged while others just need you to sit next to them, observe, and do whatever feels most comfortable for your child. Only when the anger has truly passed and your child's reason returns should you begin to offer solutions. That could be taking a picture of the toy for a wish list or planning for the next outing. The goal is to help your child move forward, not to extinguish their emotions. Remember, anger or disappointment are completely normal emotions. Your role is to accept and guide your child through those emotions without making them feel guilty or ashamed.